Peter here, aka Peter Forget 10, bringing another episode of the Movie Review Show. The good movies, always reviewed. Okay, Becky ended our movie review today, and we're continuing the second month of Screen Fest. Okay, Becky ended our movie review today. And perhaps some of you, if you haven't been keeping up with my channel, last time I did a review of Watchers. And that was a very low budget film that was based on a book that a lot of people took for granted. And they thought, oh my god, it's going to be like the greatest book ever made and such. Movie based on the book ever made. It's going to get everything right. Well, they changed up everything and people were disappointed. But I think it managed to get a cult following on video, and because of all this, director Thierry Neutz, if I believe I'm saying his or her name right, I can't tell if it's a man or a woman, but director Thierry Neutz decided, I made a bundle off of the, if John Hess made a budget off Little Bunny and just a clown suit, I can do my own monster. It'll be perfect. So with that, he set out to direct his own Watchers film, but also try to do what the book did. Try to make it close to the book. And with that, Watchers 2 was born. Now, again, I have it in the 2-pack right here, if you guys are wondering which Watchers, while I watched the film. I have it in the 2-pack. And this is the scene selection: Watchers 1, Watchers 2, Watchers 1, Watchers 2, Watchers 1, Watchers 2. So as you can tell, they're on both sides. But Watchers 2 was a film made back in 1990, and it was directed, as I said, by Thierry Neutz. And unlike the first one, which only had a couple of known casts, this one does not have any at all. You got Mark Zinger, who you might not know about, but I know Rambo Rat for Life does. Tracy Scoggins from Demonic Toys. Jonathan Farewell, I believe I'm saying his name right. Irene Miracle, Mary Wanoff, Tom Poster, and Rick Conrad. So not a big cast, but still. Now, Watchers 2, with the exception that it does have a smaller budget, and it is easy to tell that throughout the film. What do I think of that? I think it's a good sequel. It's good in a cheesy manner, but it's not as good as the first, because I felt the first was a little bit more polished, and I thought it took itself a little bit more serious than this one, I gotta say. Still not bad for a sequel, just not that great. But the plot of this film, it's basically right where the first one, it's not exactly right where the first one ended, it's basically like, a remake of the first one, and we find out that, there's this lab where Einstein, who was the dog from the first one, is being set in. In the first one he was called Furface, this one he's called Einstein. So I don't know if he was named that in the book, but they name it here. But basically, this one, the laboratory is about to close down, and during that whole thing, they have to take all the animals out. And one of the things that they do need to take out is the monster from the first film. So so the main guy who owns the place hires these group of guys who to go and rob the place and take some stuff. And basically we find out that they accidentally opened they basically opened the cage that's keeping the thing, and I don't know if I should call it a cage or not, because it doesn't look like a cage. It looks like a thing with a door with a circle thing on it. I don't know what that is. But he's got one content on his mind, and that is trying to kill the dog. And so while all that's happening, the dog manages to escape, and he ends up in the truck of this guy who was in trouble named Paul, played by Mark Zinger, who basically befriends the dog, and the dog seems to like him, and they find out that this monster is out there in the world, and so the dog ends up leading him to his trainer, played by Tracy Scogans, and they discover what is really going on in the lab and what the master was hiding in that lab. And so now this thing is out in the open, and it's basically doing the same thing what it did in the first film, and that is kill off all the people who the monster comes in contact with. So now it's up to our 3 heroes from the Rose to stop this monster once and for all. Will they be able to stop this monster, or will it be the victims of just petting a puppy? Now, Watchers 2, its story is just the same as the first one, only it's redone as the first one. And in a way, it's trying to make itself more true to the book, which I can appreciate, but if you're gonna do it, if you want to do it as a sequel to a film that's not based on a book, don't go and say, oh, we gotta do a movie based on a book. We gotta do the sequel to be more like the book. Because aren't you doing a sequel to a film that was not based on a book, but is already, and was already shipped out, and people already know what to expect after seeing the first film? Well, why is that? Why do you need to do that? Yeah. And it just feels like a copy and paste of the first one to describe. Well, not particularly like take the big glob and shove it on there and just copy the whole story, because they do make some changes to make it feel more like the book. But the way it's carried out and the way it's looked through, it just seems more like the first one in every way. And in a way, that's lazy to me. It just would have been a lot better if it was more like that. But on the positive side, the lighting is good, the filming's good. It still doesn't look like a shot on video horror film, which I am happy for. Because if you are doing a movie based on a book, you want to have a good camera to do it and not make it shot on like a camera that a 5th grader could easily use. But other than that, the plot of this film just feels like a revamped version of the first one, but in a way, it just completely throws the first one in the water and just feels like, oh, we gotta be our own film, which I can appreciate, but the way that they're looking at it just doesn't seem like, is it fun, and in a way, it just feels cheaper than the first one. But for what it's trying to do, I can appreciate. So, overall, I'm not being too harsh on the story. Dang it. Drop that thing there. But still, I appreciate what it is trying to be. Even though I do prefer the first one, I still do think that the story in this one is still good. But one thing I gotta say is, what is up with this music that plays? It'll just be like, some of the scenes where the score plays, it doesn't match the tone of the scene, and it just feels like with that at the end, at the beginning of it, it just feels like you're laughing your head off. I'm like, am I supposed to take this scene seriously? If you hear anything, that's the water coming down the thing. I'm in my basement, by the way, if anybody's wondering where this new location is that's the water right there. But what's with that music? It's like as if like playing a song at a funeral, it's like playing a happy song at a funeral, like saying a patty cake at a funeral, which I would never do. But it just doesn't match the setting, and it doesn't match the tone. Wrong side. But still, the story was okay. I definitely think the story was more well written in the first one, but still okay. Okay. But also the acting is pretty good in this film. You got Mark Zinger, who I think did a pretty good job as the main protagonist. I mean, he's basically doing a substitute for Corey Feldman. Not Feldman. Why do I keep thinking of Corey Feldman? Just because he was in The Lost Boys along with Corey Haim, that doesn't mean he's the same guy. Corey Haim. Let me say that. Corey Haim's character, but he still did okay. He still is very well done. But Mark Zinger is still good in this film. He's likable. I do like how in the film he's cocky and such. He's a little bit different from Corey Haim's character, where he was more like serious about it. This guy takes everything wacky and feels like everything is a joke to him, and just pretty much just takes things to the minimum. But still, I thought Mark Zinger gave his heart to the character and still is a pretty good actor. Now, Tracy Scoggins is a scientist. I like Tracy Scoggins in this film. I may not be a fan of her in Demonic Toys, and neither am I a fan of Demonic Toys, shoot me for that, but I thought she did a good job of this film. I thought she gave her likeness to the character. I thought she was likable, and I thought she gave a very well done script to her, and pretty much made you feel like she was a scientist. So definitely, I thought Tracy Scoggins handled the part well, and I thought she pretty much gave a nice scientist feel to it that I think fits it. So overall, definitely, Tracy Scoggins is definitely one of the things that saves the acting. Jonathan Farewell did a good job. Iron Miracle, who is the wife of the main character of what's his name? Paul in the film. She is heartbroken over him, and in a way she shows that heartbrokenness well and actually delivers that whole thing well, and you actually do like her, and in a way you do want to see her survive. When she dies, that's the only scene I'm gonna spoil, but when she dies you feel sorry for her, but I still thought she did a good job portraying herself as a good wife and loving life. You can definitely tell she still is in love with her husband, and that you can definitely tell that her and Mark Zinger have great chemistry and definitely are likable as a couple. They may not be the most adorable couple out there, like, oh, this is adorable, like Sly and Carm, which is my all-time favorite couple, but they still they still scripted them well. Now, the other actors do their part well. I'm not really gonna say them all. Mandy Moore, Tom Poster, and that's it. But they do their part okay. But there's one complaint I have. Actually, I take that back. But still, the acting's pretty good. But if there's one thing I came to this film to see, let's talk about the main monster. This one, they give it a name called The Outsider, which they just called it. In this one, said it was just the monster, and this one they actually give it a name called The Outsider, which I thought was unique. I thought that was actually a very cool idea, because I was wondering, because throughout when I was watching the first one, I was wondering what that thing was called, and in a way, I was kind of wondering, like, what devilish name could they come up with for that monster? And they came up with a good name for it. But when you actually see the monster, whereas in the original it was so well done and well special effected, even though it looked like Bigfoot, this got one, and it still looked real and everything. This one looks like a guy in a rubber suit. As you see him walking, you could definitely tell it's a guy in a rubber suit as he walks. And as he's walking down the stairs, you could tell it's a guy in a rubber suit. And I don't think it looks as cool as the one in the first one. But still, it has this good share of special effects. The blood is still there, so if you're a gore hound, you'll definitely have your share of blood. I will talk about 2 seeds of blood. Like, this one scene where Irene, it's probably my favorite death of the film, is Irene Miracle's death. It's where she's taking a bath and she gets her head dumped in the toilet, and well, she just gets her head dumped in the bathtub. Her head gets pulled off, slapped into the toilet, and her eyes plucked out. But still, she has the best death of this film. There are some other deaths, but most of the deaths are off-screen for some odd reasons. But still, like, for what there still are a lot of cool death scenes in this film. There may not be, like, up the standards of Friday the 13th or any other film in this pile, like Maniac Cop, which I'll get into later. I might have a pile here of films that I'm planning to review, and I may mention them in videos like this one, Interview with the Vampire. But I still thought that the deaths were carried out well. The special effects were well done, and I do like the fact that in this film I do think that the work with the dog was a lot better than the work with the dog in the first one. And I think the dog looked more like a golden retriever. I think he looked better. And I think that the choice for the dog was definitely better than the choice of the dog of the first one. Well, but I definitely thought the dog in this one was very cool, and the dog, but I still like the dog of the first one. I just thought that this dog, did a much better job with basically being smarter and showing that smartness, and it's definitely proven in this film. Hold on one second. This chair I'm sitting on a stool like this. Look at that. I can barely lean back because I'm afraid I'm gonna fall. Anyway, but the dog was very well done. The teachings for the dog, I like some of the scenes with the dog. The relationship between him and Mark Zinger's character was very well done. So overall, not a bad film. Definitely to look at it as a cheesy time waster, but it's not the best of the series. The best would be either Watchers 3, or Watchers 3. The 3, but it's somewhere up with number 3 is my favorite of the series. Definitely better than Watchers Reborn. I mean, what the heck was Mark Hamill thinking? I mean, we'll get to Watchers 3 another time, but Watchers 2, I guess its problems are the fact that it's special, the effects on the monster feel weak and just sluggish. It feel fake. And also that it's too short. It is too short, and also the fact that a lot of the deaths in the film appear off screen, which I don't think is necessary, because this film is not PG-13. You're looking at a rated R film. Why take gore that we've been dying to see off screen? I don't know if this film does it, but I'll get to that film another time. I'm really excited to watch that film, but still, why do you feel it's needed to take death scenes off screen? I really don't understand that. If you're coming to see a horror film, you should at least get your gore. But overall, it's not bad. Not bad for a sequel. Definitely not as good as the first. I definitely like the first and the third the best. But I definitely give it a rent. Definitely worth a rental, and I definitely suggest you go rent Watchers if you could. I think it's on YouTube, or if you want to go buy it on VHS, it's cheap. Or if you're willing to go the route I did, if you find this film in a DVD shop like I did, and willing to pay $5 for it, I definitely recommend you go rent this film. But pick it up if it's cheap in a cheapo box, or if you get a good deal on it. But bottom line, I'm not going to say I recommend you go see Watchers 2. I mean, it's good as a time waster. And it's definitely better than Watchers Reborn, but still, I definitely think that the first and the third are the best. So bottom line, I give Watchers 2 an 8 out of 10. It still is a well-made, well-thought-out film. It's still good that it is trying to be a remake of the original. But despite that, I think it just throws away what made the original well done. Not that it's a bad film or anything. Oh, it is far from a bad sequel. And you enjoy talking about that film again. But still, thought it was very well done. Thought it was well thought out, and it had potential. And there is a good Watcher sequels in there, but you have to dig through it to find it. But still, definitely go check it out. I definitely recommend it. But that is my review for Watchers 2, and And I'm gonna get Watchers 3 for my birthday on VHS, and I'll tell you guys what I think of it, because I'm not willing to pay $70 for it on eBay, because I just found this one because I was lucky. But, next time I'm gonna do a review on Fright Night, then I have The Lost Boys, and then Bram Stoker's Dracula. We're on to review this film for a long time. Interview with the Vampire. I'm going like this case right here. I haven't seen these around in a while. I like these cases for some reason. But then I have, Vampire in Brooklyn, the water review this film with Eddie Murphy, was directed by Wes Craven. And I'll always love this film, my favorite vampire film of all time, From Dusk Till Dawn. I'm going to review this film. And then I have a series I'm going to be reviewing. I have, let me just sort these into the right pile. And here we go. The Maniac Cop franchise. First one, Maniac Cop. Maniac Cop 2. Maniac Cop 3, The Badge of Silence. All of them will be reviewed tomorrow. And then after all that... Ooh. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, folks. Oh, good, it didn't break. Always have good luck with these things. That's one of the series I plan to review. Next, and then I have House of a Thousand Corpses. Going to review this film after, and then Return of the Living Dead. And then after all that day of films, I finally get to watch Wrong Turn 4, Bloody Beginnings. Oh my god, I'm so excited to see that film. I've been waiting since the first to see that film. Well, not the first, I mean, waiting since I reviewed those 3 films. And that will be a review up tomorrow. Sorry, my camera keeps falling. But that'll be up tomorrow. All these reviews will be up tomorrow, and I'll try to get them done. But tell me what you guys think of Watchers 2. I am aware that there are people who like it, and I am going to have to find a good spot down here. If I want to keep filming videos down here, I'm going to need to find a good spot to hold the camera. But still, tell me what you guys think of Watchers 2 and all, and I'll be happy to know. But I'll see you guys later. Be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go find a good spot to put this so my camera doesn't keep falling.